All righty, everybody. So good to see you. And we're going to talk a little bit about faith development. Faith development. I'm going to start by giving you a story. Um, I want you to listen carefully, and you will get the connection as we go. All right. So in 1954, after saying goodbye to his wife, Mildred, and their baby daughter, Kathy, Bert left for a tour of duty to go to Korea. He was deployed there for 16 months. Throughout his absence, Mildred wrote a letter to Bert almost every day. Walked to the post office with the baby. They put the letter in there, mail it to Bert. Every night before they go to bed, there was a frame photo of Bert, Daddy Bert. Mildred would tell the daughter, Kathy, "This is your daddy." They will kiss the picture. And every night she will do that over and over again and keep telling her, "Daddy's going to come back." Just giving Kathy that reassurance of her dad. For 16 months, they waited anxiously for his return. Finally, the day came when he was arriving back from duty. He docked at Seattle, and they went there to greet him. And it took a while to go through all the processes of getting out of the system and everything. So by the time he was finished and got there, it was too late for them to drive home. So they decided to spend the night at a hotel in Seattle. Usually, Kathy would sleep in her crib. They didn't have a crib there, so they had a little cot in the room. No side rails or anything. They all went to bed, and during the night, Kathy fell off the bed. When she fell off the bed, all they heard, Kathy shout out, "Daddy!" When Bert sat down and recalled that years later, it did something to him. Because remember now, he was away from her for how long? 16 months. There were no close interactions. But what did the mother do? Every night, Daddy's coming back. This is Daddy. Just keep giving that reassurance. What was she building? A foundation, a trust. And that's what every one of us here that's sitting here as Sabbath school leaders, that's what we are doing for our kids and our parents. They don't know at that age the concept, and they don't understand God. But as leaders, as parents, we're giving them that assurance all the time by what we do and what we say. The songs we sing, the lessons we give them, the stories we tell them, we keep reassuring to them, Daddy's here. He's coming back for us. Our Father is going to help us through this. So that is just to give you that assurance that that is your role as leaders. On your tables, there is some blocks, there are some cards, and then you have Lego blocks. We're not going to deal with the Lego blocks right now, but we're going to deal with the blocks. What I want you to do as a group on your table, you're getting a bag or some objects or something that you're going to do. On your table, there's a stack of cards. As a group, I need you to build a tower. The first one you're going to do is with the cards. Dr. Griffith, give them the bigger garbage bag for that one. Whatever they just put on your table, you're going to build a tower on that. So the bag, whatever it is, you're going to put that on the table, and using the cards, you're going to build a tower. Let me set the table. Take up your cards. Because some of you, putting it in a nice laid out fashion. Whatever I leave on your table, build a tower with your cards on that bag. Build your tower using the cards. Let's see who could build the highest tower using the cards. Hold on. 1 second. Oh, good, thanks. In case of the card.
Isn't it supposed to have it flat?
Build your tower. On that, whatever it is that you have on your table, build a tower. You have 2 minutes to build your tower. The table that has the highest tower, you're the winner. Keep building. And when you finish build your tower, you're not supposed to be holding the cards. So don't use your hands as the foundation and hold the cards. You got to loose that. Keep building. Don't give up. Keep building. On the bag, all your cards must be on that foundation. That's the foundation that I gave you, and that's what I want you to use for this tower. Come on now, you could do it. You could do it. Listen, you can't get rid of anything that I put on the table. All you're working with is the cards. You just keep building that tower. You have about 30 seconds. Come on, don't give up. Don't give up. You could do it. Keep trying. Remember, we're trying to go up, not across. We're trying to see who could build the tallest tower. Higher, higher. Lift Jesus higher. Come on now. We got 10 seconds. We're going to be counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop building. Don't just keep your towers right where they are. On the other side, this is what I want you to do now. You leave your towers just as it is. On the other side of next to your tower on the table, we have some blocks, and I want you to build a tower using these blocks. Leave your other card tower, but on the other side, using your blocks on the table, I want you to build another tower. Let's see which tower is higher. Do not move your card tower, but build your other tower with the blocks. You have 1 minute. Just keep going. We want to see who has the highest tower. You have 30 seconds. Just get higher. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's stop. So I want to hear your comments. The first tower that you built on that shaky, unstable foundation. Tell me your experience. Anybody? From each table. Just say quickly, what is your experience? Wait. Let's go. Let's start it in front here, because I heard some comments in here. Remember, we waiting for the mic. Yeah.
Impossible. It was a shaky foundation.
Mm-hmm. What's the difference? What do you see between the first tower you were building and the second tower?
Weight. We were able to, I shouldn't say it. It's not weight. What is it? It's balance. Yes, the blocks are provided as balance so that we were able to do a nice foundation and then build up from there without it being shaky, moving, and we didn't have to keep our hands to try to keep it in place.
Okay.
We were able to trust it.
Okay. Let's hear from the stable back here.
The first one, the cards were very shaky and not able to adapt. Even though I was trying to get to the next level, every time I would get to the next level, it would fall. But when I got to the blocks, they were firmer and they were able to sustain the building process. Because with the cards, the process kept falling.
Was it the cards and the blocks, or?
It was the foundation. The bag. The bag didn't leave any stability around it. Even though I tried to use the bag for stability, it wasn't enough. But with the blocks, we were able to go higher, and then the inner Jenga came out, so we were able to go a little higher.
Good. Let's look at this one quick, because this table back here, this tower back here. Tell us what is your feelings about that tower?
I needed mental health. There was no foundation to build it on.
Before we go to this other side, let me add something here. The cards. Take your cards, and in 1 minute, let me see what you could do on the table with your cards. Everybody, use your cards. And use the other cards that you have. You have some more cards? Use your same cards on the table and build a tower. Let's see what happens. Thirty seconds. 20. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's hear on this side. Tell us your experience, the difference when you had the garbage bag or the bag on your foundation with the cards. Just your whole experience in building this tower. Let's start with this table back here.
The plastic bag was slippery and not level. You couldn't get a firm hold on it to even, and the cards, they weren't stable enough either.
I want to qualify with the rule. The rule was don't touch the bag.
Correct?
You were to build your foundation as you left the bag on the table. The way you manipulated the bag had absolutely no solid foundation. You would have had to manipulate the bag to create a foundation.
Come on now.
So in order for us to understand the foundational principles, the foundation that we were given was not solid.
Tell us about the difference.
The difference is that the table is the foundation. The foundation of the table is solid. Therefore, regardless of the instruments you use to build, the foundation is solid, and therefore the opportunities are greater.
Okay. And again, we're going to throw in a shameless plug here. Look out for our foundations coming in January. Youth Congress. If you haven't registered yet, make sure that you share with your youth and everybody in here. Get one youth to register for our Foundations Congress. Let's go. Come on now. Something. Tell us share your experience.
The plastic bag was kind of brought me back to the song about the, building your house on the sand and so on. So it was sifting. But luckily for us, when Orion left, she left some crevices. So we used what we could to make it up. And so we were able to have some sort of a tower, a one-bedroom something, with the crevices bracing. But again, it's sifting. So we couldn't move up. Whereas this was building on the rock, right? The table. And so we, as you can see, we built the highest tower. I don't know if there's a present for it, but we built the highest tower.
And this last table in front here, share your experience. Anybody?
Okay, what I can say is that when you gave us that bag, it didn't have any stability at all. So what I learned from even the cards, you have to hold them from this. I mean, the tower that we built with only the cards. You just have to, there's that support that needed. But when it comes to blocks, it's the stability, independency. I can put that across, like for our children, especially for our children. If you give them that foundation, they have the independency. I can give an example, like myself. I'm from Africa, from Kenya. When I came here, I was very young. But the foundation that I got from the church and everything, I was capable of deciding what's good and what's bad. So that foundation that was installed in me, that's what has made me who I am today. I know what's good, what's bad, and where to go and what next.
There's so many lessons that we could pull from this, what we just did. First of all, you as the leader, you have to be a good foundation. You have to know where you stand. How could you teach? How could you show? How could you be an example if you're not firm and strong in what you about to tell them? Then you're trying to build in these babies, because we're dealing right now with the babies and the beginners. What we give them at that age is so important. I have a grandson. I almost brought him, but right now he is at that stage where he's repeating everything you say. Everything you say. He's just there mimicking. He's saying words. So a couple months ago, I started playing this YouTube Bible song video. I'm in the Lord's Army and all that kind of stuff. He's not social media hound or tablet. He wants to be outside. He wants to go. He wants to be everything. But that's one of the things that he would sit down and listen to. He would pick up the control and say, happy, 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 and point to the TV because he wants to play that song. He's listening to that song. He's singing the song. He wants to march in the Lord's army. And if you say something, he's repeating it and stuff like that. This is the time where I have to make sure that we put in him what we want his foundation to look like. This is what the babies, he's 2 years old now. This is where we're talking about the babies and the beginners. We have to put in them this foundation, which is so important at this stage. You know what you have, and you pouring it into them. So it's as we plan for them, just remember what we did here today. Keep in mind, if you have that bag to work with, and we're giving it to them, what are they getting? When they step out and go outside, even if at that age, some of them are in daycare, they're in kindergarten, they could be sharing what they learn in Sabbath school with the other kids just by what they do, some songs they sing, the words they say. Because if you're in an environment where your parents are cursing or they have this shouting, what are they picking up? And they're repeating everything. So we got to be careful and know what we're doing in that age. Faith development. Children encounter different stages and understanding of faith at each level. And this is something that we know, we've been studying it. If you've been through some of the trainings and stuff, you know that at every level, there's a different mindset in developing. As a Sabbath school leader who keeps these we have to keep them in mind to know how to give them at their age so they could understand what they're about. This makes the time in Sabbath school much more intentional. So if you have 15, 20 minutes, you have to know that what you're giving them in that time is something that they're going to remember forever. Planning is key and being intentional with it. The primary goal of this curriculum, the Alive in Jesus curriculum, is to intentionally build the faith of children of all ages. The structure, the length, and the narrative style have been set with this in mind. Each of the levels of the Alive in Jesus curriculum intentionally aims to develop faith and Bible knowledge, leading children on a seamless journey into a saving relationship with Christ. Developing spirituality, whole child development. Spirituality is a part of a child's whole child development. Everything is interconnected. When you look at all the stages and everything, you have to incorporate everything into it. As such, it is important to consider the many different parts of a child's life and experiences when looking at their faith development. How a child is impacted in each area directly affects their faith, beliefs, and outlooks. Categories with negative experiences may hinder spirituality. Categories with positive experiences nurture spirituality. Building blocks of faith development. There's facts, there's experiences, there's feelings, and there's practices. The facts is what is known as absolute and concrete. The experiences is what is done, utilizing their senses, giving memorable moments. The feelings is what is felt, perceived, a child's emotional response. And then their practices, the rituals, routines, embracing what is familiar and comfortable. Remember when Mr. Gray mentioned about the routines. Even for this age group, you have to have a routine, the same thing, they're familiar with it. Parents, when you look at the baby's curriculum, the parents this is what they should be doing. Singing the same songs, doing certain activities. And even when you have to encourage your parents to develop something with the kids. They know that, okay, at 6 o'clock, we have in worship or we have in this time, whatever they want to call it. You sit down in a certain place, there's a certain area that they know this is our worship time. So when they see a certain time coming, they're ready to do whatever they have to do in that space. They're singing the songs, they're reading the stories, so they're familiar with it. After a while, it becomes a part of them. So when they come to Sabbath school, it's the same thing with those young kids. On your table, you see 4 blocks. Each color representing facts, experiences, feelings, and practices. The blue Lego, what are some facts that you want your child or the children that you teach to understand in Sabbath school? Think about it for 10 seconds and then just give me some responses. What are some facts that you want your child or the children that you're working with to understand in Sabbath school? Anybody? Mike?
Jesus loves you.
Facts. One more person. A fact that you want the children to learn in Sabbath school.
Jesus will never leave them.
Jesus will never leave them.
I care about you.
Okay. Good. What are some feelings that you want your child to learn in Sabbath school? We're talking about feelings in Sabbath school.
Sabbath school is a safe place for you to be.
Safe place, great. Okay. Feelings in Sabbath school.
The greatest emotion, love, that they are much loved unconditionally.
Great. Anybody else? Feelings in Sabbath school? Feelings in Sabbath school? And while you answering that, how can you facilitate that feeling in Sabbath school? In your Sabbath school, how do you facilitate that feeling?
Joy and happiness.
Okay. How do you facilitate it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'm just saying I added that question so you could answer or you could pass it to the back.
I think one of the things you can do is ask them, in a safe space, how are you feeling today? Usually what I do is I open up, how was your week? And they let it out, and some of them offer, because they're in a group, well, did you try this? And, I feel this way, and just let them talk about it.
I like that, but you sound like you're in what kind of what class? Juniors?
I have primary.
Primary.
But sometime I have the kindergarten.
We're talking about babies. I understand and I appreciate that answer, but tell me about babies and beginners. Babies and beginners.
You got to hug and kiss.
Come on now.
It's unfortunate, but there's a taboo in this church, regardless of the age, and I know that there's a fear,
Right.
which is why we all have sterling volunteers, and if
Correct.
you don't have it, you should not be in this ministry.
Correct.
But the fact is, you got to
Thank you for
learn
that.
how to hug and kiss.
Anybody else? How to show or facilitate the feelings in Sabbath school for babies and beginners. When they walk in that classroom.
Sorry, I'm trying not to talk because my voice is going, but I was saying smile, like showing them your facial expressions and making sure that they can see joy in you.
Keep in mind, always reflect on what age group you're dealing with when you're doing things for them. When you planning for babies and beginners, you can't plan for them like you're planning for juniors or teens. You had... Okay.
My table mates say, but also, apart from the smiling, be welcoming to them, and also develop the atmosphere where they feel that welcome, whether it's coming in with songs or singing with them and having them be actively involved.
I know we go through a lot as individuals. There's a lot going on for us. When we step into that classroom on Sabbath mornings to prepare before those kids come, you gotta shake it off. You gotta step it up. You gotta get into the mood. If you have to drink an extra juice, water, whatever you gotta do to get that in, play the right song to get that movements going. You got to have it, because if my grandson, I pick up my phone and I sit down on my bed or whatever and I have my phone and Dior comes around, he's mad. He's pushing the phone away out of my hand so I could give him his attention. So when your kids come into Sabbath school, you got to be ready for them. When they come in, you're greeting them with excitement. You have music playing, you singing, you doing stuff. You have little activities for them so that even during that time of waiting for the class to start, there's something going on. And when we get into special needs, that's another additional part. But you have to incorporate and have stuff for them to do from the time they walk in that door.
I do this for adults as well. I do some organizational development and training too, but I try to make them feel like they're the most important person in that room. They walk in and I'm just like overjoyed to see them, and I let them understand the value that they add to my class as adults and as little, because sometimes I cover her class.
Feelings.
Inclusion. Kids love to be heard. They love to know that they are seen. And I try to incorporate that in my Sabbath school, where I have a time for each individual child to tell me about themselves, their week. We play games that promotes that.
Okay, very good. What are some practices? What are some practices that your child might experience or you want to establish in your Sabbath school? Practices. One person.
Have them know that it's always a safe place for them to express themselves.
Give us a little bit more, like example.
I know sometimes, being from a Caribbean household, some kids are not taught to, I would say with the younger generation of parents, kids are taught to express themselves more.
Okay.
But there are some of our parents, some of our children, where their parents are a little bit older, so they're not as free to tell their parents how they feel. But we always want them to know that it's okay for them to say if something makes them unhappy.
Okay.
If something makes them uneasy, and for them to be able to express why they feel that way, so that we can, in turn, make them feel better, but explain to them how to express that also to their parents.
Okay. I saw a hand back there. I don't know if you had an answer for the practices.
Especially with the little kids, I also teach junior. Well, that's my class that I teach. But I have a list of expectations that I just review, especially if they're new, and we just go over it. We talk about where the restrooms are and so forth. But with the little kids, we talk about one person talk at a time. We talk about, and that's part of respect. And so forth. So just building on that foundation, having respect for each other and being kind, not saying naughty things about each other or anything like that, but just teaching all the fruit of the Spirit.
Some other examples of practices is your welcome song. Every time you come to Sabbath school and they hear, if it's a bell or something that you're ringing, and they hear that, that's the welcome song. You talk about the cleanup song. When you want those kids to start, and now that cleanup song is like all over. They go to school, they go home. So when I start saying, clean up, Dior know it's time to come clean up. Everybody's, those are the things that you want them, so that when you start to sing, if you have a special prayer song, when they start hearing that from the first, they know it's time to kneel down, pray, close, whatever you teach them. Those are the practices that you want to have in your Sabbath school, especially with this age group. The routines is what keeps them going. The last one is experiences. What are some experiences that they might encounter in your Sabbath school? Let me help with that so we could keep going. Experiences. They know when they come to Sabbath school, they're going to learn about Jesus. You're going to have a story time. You're going to have songs. These are experiences that they look forward to go to Sabbath school, because they know these experiences they're going to get. They're going to get you. Yes.
Yeah, it's like what you said, the children repeat or remember everything that you said. I remember one Sabbath, the teacher was talking to them about not drinking. And my youngest son, when we were having worship in church for children's story, he says, "Lord, please help us to stop drinking at home." I went under the chair.
So
And people would think that, okay, they're home drinking. And it's like, what are they drinking? It's not water or juice.
That's what I was thinking too. So one of the things that I'm thinking of beginners is fear. So Justice Israel McCoy is my grandson, and when he was a baby, he was afraid of grass. And so I noticed that because Stephen was not putting him near the grass, and I said, "Why are you doing that?" He said, "Because he's scared of grass." And I said, no, he is not to fear anything but God. And so I took his shoes and socks off, and I, little by little, helped him approach the grass. And through the years, I have taught him not to be afraid of anything. And unfortunately, Justice is no longer afraid of anything, which can be a little scary because he jumped down a flight of stairs and just unexpectedly. And so I caught him because I was teaching him these steps of fear. So one of the things that you recognize in this age group is fear. And you need to recognize fear so that you can help them overcome. Because how are they going to be the leadership of tomorrow if they're afraid?
Very good, very good. On your table, yes.
Okay, so in terms of experiences at Sabbath school, for the age group that you're discussing, is the fact of hands-on experiences and the feeling, being able to feel things and touch things and be able to create things even as they're that small.
Very good. On your table, you have 4 blocks. We're talking about the blue, yellow, green, and red. Facts, experiences, feelings, and practices. I want you to discuss in your group which block you think is the most important to the least important, and you're going to build it up. So if you feel that facts is more important than feelings, experiences, that would be your first one. The first one would be the one at the bottom, not like your foundation, and then the top one would be the least. Discuss it in your groups. Feelings, facts, experiences, and practices. Now we're talking about relating this to the Sabbath school, the children in our Sabbath school. Which one, how you feel, and just do a little discussion about it, and then build your little stack based on Sabbath school. Sabbath school. Practices is your green. The yellow is your experience, blue is your facts, and feelings, the red. Just look at that. A minute and a half to just share in your tables why we're looking at these building blocks in Sabbath school. Okay, you have about 30 seconds. Feelings is red, practices green, experience yellow, and facts blue. Huh? The most important is at the bottom, and the one on top is least. All right. So I want to hear from you. Have one person on your table that's going to share with us why your stack looks the way they look. You can start right
Okay, so with the levels of education and knowledge base, so I have an advantage. I've been a teacher for a long time. So with the information, the lowest level of education is knowledge. So you start with a foundation of knowledge, which in this case are the facts. So that would be our biblical principles with that. When you move from there, you then have the experiences, and our sister mentioned the tactile and the kinesthetics information that you learn. When you experience, you feel. So they are technically at the same level. And then the highest level is application. So you get your foundation, you experience it, and then you apply it, and then you use it to teach others. So that's the practice.
Okay. Now remember, everything a table or you have, it could go any which way based on what. So nobody is going to be saying this is correct. It's what you feel. So let's hear from this group.
Okay, so we had a little bit of a debate between our yellow and our blue. I tend to agree with the previous table, but I think the reason we went with the experiences is, say it again? Because of the age group. So what they're experiencing, whether that's what they brought from home or the experience that they have in the classroom, is going to be our foundation. That's what we decided.
All right. What I can say from what we discussed, always facts will remain facts. There's no question about it. Facts are always facts. So facts will come first. Then the feeling will follow. Feeling and experience, they go hand in hand. Then now you have to apply what you have learned from facts, experience, and the feeling.
Okay.
Then you will apply it.
We had the same as the previous table, with the facts being the foundation, and then we build upon the feelings of the kids that come in the room, then build on that with the experiences, and then the practices.
Okay. Okay, good.
I think facts at home. Without parents, usually you have a rough time doing anything. Facts at home, and then practices at home. After your parents can go over the facts, then they need to practice it. I just don't think you have much of a teaching goal without the parents' help.
But after that, we've got experiences. No, I'm looking at not feelings, because these little children have all kind of feelings all over the place. And that's okay. That's okay. Experiences at home. The home is the foundation. Unfortunately, our little children don't have that, a lot of them. But it's so important that we even have a little class or something where we can teach the parents. So I'm thinking the feelings would be the last at Sabbath school.
Okay, thank you. And our last table.
The thing is, for me, I started out with feelings as the foundation, as the bottom one, and then facts at the top, because I have a little 2-month-old great-grandbaby, and I see her every weekend, and the first thing I do is bend over her and say, "Ew, this is G Grandma," and she starts to smile. So one, I touched her. The other thing I did was I let her see the happiness in my face. And then I went to experience, because now this is the second week she's come to visit, and she knows that this crazy G Grandma is gonna bend over and she's gonna say, "Oh, this is G Grandma," and she's gonna smile, because that's what she did the second time I saw her. And then now I'm building the practices and I'm building the foundation, so that whenever she comes, and this is the same thing with the little ones in Sabbath school, they are going to be looking, no matter what their day is, no matter what my day is, the teacher's day is, they're both going to be looking forward to that feeling, that experience, and then the other things will come after that.
What I want us to take away from here is that the 4 blocks needs to be incorporated in what we do for our children. We are all different, and even our kids are different. The kids learn differently, they react to things differently, so it might work well for one, it mightn't work well for other, but they need to get all. We have to work with our parents. Somebody mentioned that some of the parents and what is happening at home is not ideal. And that's life. That's what it is. But you and I know a little different, so we have to help as much as we can. A lot of parents now think that Sabbath school is another babysitting service. And we have to try to encourage them, especially with the babies. The babies, that's not a drop-off. Right. The curriculum has a part for the parents too. There's a section that the kids do, and then the last minutes of the class is a parent activity. The parents. So you helping the parents understand what their responsibilities are. So as leaders, as Sabbath school leaders, we have to make sure that we help the parents. We might even have to have sometimes an extra class or extra something to help the parents understand what it is. Ideally, our home and church should work together. The Alive in Jesus Sabbath School encourages family involvement and community inside the home within the class. Let's keep pushing. Let's do what we have to do for our children, so that in the end, the foundation that we build at this age, they will remember for the rest of their life.